Hi guys, welcome. We are currently in my unofficial plant room. I'm going to be showing you some like Anthurium updates today. So I'm going to be pulling some stuff out of the tent, so it's just easier for me to record in here, even though the background is definitely not as aesthetic as my main like living space in the dining room there, where I have like my Vitso shelves in the background. It looks really cute. So we're just going to roll with this though, because it's much easier for me to like pull stuff out of the tent because it is right here. So this is my grow tent. Is a 5x5 from AC Infinity. I've definitely talked about that before. And then I just have my like shelves with my seedlings and my prop bins and stuff right here behind me. So it has like the most minute planty vibe, but a little bit of a planty vibe. You can see my Dieffenbachia Big Ben back here that I have propagating. But before I start pulling stuff out of the tent, I did want to show you a couple of the seedlings that I just, from my first hybrid, that I just potted up into like a regular size pot from their little seedling pot, which is probably like a third of the size. These are, I can't remember what kind of pots these are. These are my all-time favorite pots for Anthurium because they're orchid pots technically. I just watered these, so I can't lift them outside of this tray. But in this area right here, it's got these slits for better aeration, which I find very beneficial for Anthurium because they do like to rot their roots sometimes. Sully is in the back licking his paws very loudly. I actually just got a really good idea. So I have this teacup sitting in here that I had another plant in to stabilize it, and I'm just going to borrow that for just a second so I can show you these guys. So these are my first hybrid. I do have some of these available in my shop if you're interested. They are grower's choice right now, as they are just getting to the point where they're actually like larger and you're able to see some characteristics and stuff. I'll start selling them as specific plants before too long. Probably my next site restock or so. But anyways, these are a few that I am keeping. So this is kind of like my preliminary choices of the batch. And this is from my, it's a Crystallinum antiqua crossed with Carlobus, maybe, crossed with a Red Vein Dark Phoenix Cunha hybrid as the dad, who is slightly mutated and variegated. I will put parent photos on the screen as always. But I do have a couple that are exhibiting some variegation. It is, however, it's not like the really stark, like white or pink or yellow variegation, but it's kind of like the subtle, almost blister variegation. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it on camera. I may try to take some photos of it, but a lot of times these you can't even like really barely catch with the camera. Like you can only see it in person. But this is the first one, so this one does have some of that variegation on it. You can see it a little bit in the older leaves if I look really closely at them, but not nearly as much as the newest leaf. And they do all have some really cute like pink veins when they come out. So I feel like these are particularly good looking seedlings, but of course that is just my opinion. And I am biased. This one looks a little mutated. So this one is not nearly as large, but you can see maybe a little bit of the variegation on this one. It looks like it in the camera. Maybe you'll be able to see a little bit. But you can definitely see how the leaf shape is kind of funky, especially in comparison to like that one. I'm dripping water everywhere. But yeah, so this one, I'm kind of interested just to see what that one will look like, if it'll keep being kind of funky looking. Because the dad is very funky looking. He's a character, that's for sure. And I really like that in plants in general, not just Anthurium. This one I liked just because it was kind of long. So this one is like kind of like longer and narrower and sharper. That is its emergent leaf, which is still kind of this like bronzy pink, and then its previous leaf. Oh, come on, camera, work with me. So we've got that guy, and then last one. This is another narrow one. This one is a little bit larger, but you can see that's its newest leaf right there. So again, kind of long and narrow, and it's got these really nice pinky veins to it, which I really appreciate. I just think they're so cute. They have a little bit of that like Cunha for sure texture to them. And then the pinky veins that comes from the mom, which is the Antiqua hybrid. She looks very just like red crystallinum, but with very, very minimal veins. and a very pink sinus. So yeah, this one's got kind of cool veins. This one actually looks a little bit variegated, a little bit variegated also, but definitely not as prominent as the other two. But I really liked the leaf shape on that one. And then just so you can see the rest, this is kind of what the other ones are looking like. I'm going to try not to dump this entire tray out like I tend to do. Let me turn the camera down. Let's turn the camera down here, guys. Ooh, that lighting's terrible. Okay, I'm lifting you up towards the light so we can better see. But yeah, this is what they are looking like currently for the most part. Like I said, I'm doing grower's choice right now, so that would be more like along the lines of that sizing. The smaller ones, the bigger ones are a few of my old packs and like initial ones that I potted up into like a little bit of a bigger size. But moving right along, the first one I'm going to talk about is an Anthurium Carla Moonshine crossed with Soul Reaper, which is a select RLFS, and that is crossed with Carla OG4 as the dad. And this one is a little bit of a mutated, I'm assuming runty something or other, or miniature, because it's just stayed very, very small. Although its newest leaf is showing signs of sizing up. It is about as big as its previous leaves, and that is just the emergent, like it has just come out. So it's like just a very, very fresh, has not barely expanded at all leaf. I did post a photo of this on my Instagram too, so if you're interested in seeing like updates and stuff, I'm posting on Instagram finally over there. I don't care for social media for the most part, but I do like sharing my planty stuff. So it's like there are two wolves inside of me. You know, one hates social media and wants nothing to do with it, and then the other one wants to talk to other plant people about plants because literally no one cares about this other than us. But anyway, so I just posted a photo of this over there, and this emergent is crazy. Like it has the really twisty there at the bottom. Excuse you. If this one would get a little bit bigger, that would be the bomb.com, because I do love this, but I would prefer if this would actually size up a little bit. Like this is a little tiny fella. Like I would prefer if it would size up just a little bit. But the shape of that leaf is just crazy. It's crazy. And I love the little curly Q here. This is one that I have talked about definitely before. This is a No ID Eleanor crossed with RLFS, and it's an F2. And it is from Steven Theriums, and the person who owns Eleanor actually messaged me. And if you're watching this, girl, thank you so much for making this plant, because oh my god, I know this is kind of like a mutated one. Again, the white stuff is sulfur. This is unavoidable. The entire tent is covered in sulfur right now, so we're not going to see non-sulfur covered leaves for the foreseeable future until emergents start coming out and hardening off. So it does have sulfur on it, but she's flat. She's flat, and the veins are like super crazy. They're like very wispy and wavy and interesting, and you can see like this is a consistent thing on all the leaves. We've even got the newest leaf, which was, yeah, what's this one? Almost looks like a little bit of a negative sinus, like we're starting to veer downwards. And I am a fan of that to some extent. I think it would look really good with these veins. I don't always love that. And I think she is nearing caterpillar. I just repot her because she was like busting out of her previous pot, and she's already rooting in here pretty well. And she looks like, I don't know if she's, normally I would say this would be a flower because it's coming out of the sheath of the leaf, but I don't think she's in caterpillar yet. So that could just be, that could be a new leaf. But her last leaf aborted, like it got stuck and got, you know, they get kind of like crispy sometimes when they get stuck in there. And it just died off, but that was right after I repotted it, so that's like not totally unexpected. But yeah, so I don't know if maybe that would have been, like we have a caterpillar going on now. I just missed it because that leaf fell off, and maybe we're flowering. I don't really know. But again, love the leaf structure. Love something that's like a little funky and mutated. A flatty patty. Okay, we got a couple more that I'm gonna like hold up and show you, and then I'll just take you into the tent. We'll take a little quick peek in there. This is a Bessier AFF crossed with an Ace of Spades red crystal. And this is one that I purchased because the emergent at the time that I purchased it had forked veins on it, which is, it's like chocolate crystal type veins where they just like split off and they look kind of like savage, you know? And I really like that, obviously, as we all do. And I was so bummed because the leaf that I got, and I did an unboxing on here somewhere. The leaf that it came with fell off right after I did that unboxing video, the one with the forked veins that I was so excited for. And it wasn't emergent, so it wasn't like the most unexpected. A lot of times if you ship plants and they have emergence because they're so delicate, like things can happen, you know? But anyway, so that leaf immediately fell off and I thought I broke it off until I went back and was editing the video and I noticed that like when I unboxed it, you can clearly see on the petiole that it was damaged in shipping. So I guess that made me feel a little bit better, like not really. But this is the first leaf since then that I have gotten. And wow, the forked veins on there. Hold on, let me move this up some because the light is like blasting. But look at those forked veins, like, and I love the light sinus, like where you can see it kind of like V's, and then those veins. This one is going to be absolutely incredible. I cannot wait for this to get a little bigger and harden off. The older leaves did have the forking, but they weren't as prominent, and you can see it's like quite narrow too, which I find interesting. So narrow, really forked veins. That has a really nice shape and look with the veining. So yeah, we'll see how this one turns out because lobes are definitely more pronounced on this one than the previous ones. I am hoping that it will be a little bit darker than these leaves with like a little bit of a lighter veining because I like the contrast. The contrast will really make those forked veins pop, you know. This is another one that totally crashed out and I had to reroot and just recently potted back up. So this is my Jack of Clubs crossed with some kind of dog block, something or other, crossed with No ID Stormy Self. And this was her last remaining leaf prior to her crash out. And you can see just like, again, the veins on this, wow, shape, wow. She's like wavy and kind of contorted and cool looking. And then she finally gave me a new leaf. And it is the nicest, like mauvey pink. And those veins are just so good. They are so good. I have had a couple of people who had messaged me about a prop of this one. And man, that, when I tell you, I lost so many props in my bins because I think I was keeping them too humid. Like I was not airing them out enough. I didn't have enough perlite in the moss. Who knows? But things will hopefully start improving prop wise before too long, but I lost so many props and this was one of them. But probably like 50% of my props didn't make it, and I know like sometimes that just happens. Also with me keeping the bins way too humid, there was just a lot of rot and stuff going on. So we'll see in the future. Hopefully I'll be able to chop this one again and get a prop or two going because I do know that there are some people that wanted this. And I will, if you message me about this one, I promise I will get back to you as soon as I have a viable prop. I'm pretty sure in my last video I mentioned that I have not bought a plant in a really long time, but the last plant that I had purchased was from Cartel Dawn, and it was a clone of Black Sweet, which is a plant that I absolutely adore. And then I also got this one in that same order, and I wrote down that this is Red Planet crossed with Luxurians. I think it's called something else, like Red Space. I think it's Red Space. Is it Red Space? I'll put the correct name on the screen. But the reason I got this one is because I really, really wanted a variegated Luxurians. And normally if you cross anything with Luxurians, it looks like very, very like a Luxurian. So we're going to hope for that with this one. And she's just a cute little variegated baby. And it's pretty consistent. You can see it from even like the smallest leaf down here is variegated. And it is variegated all the way through. And then she gave me this leaf right after getting her, which will be her newest leaf, which is not quite as variegated as like that one, but I think she looks pretty stable. And last one I'm going to show you is, so this is Bigfoot crossed with Basilisk, also from Cartel Dawn. I got this, I think, a year ago, and this has been, when I tell you this has been the most difficult plant to grow. Granted, I have probably been doing a lot of things wrong, which I have been trying to correct slowly over time. But I was able to get this one to reroot, and I just repotted it because it started growing. We had some viable roots, etc. And she has put out a new leaf. So this is very like moochless. But I got this before I even knew what moochless was, or if it was like as known as it is now. But moochless is just like the same thing. It has like kind of like wavy edges and the tail on it. But yeah, I really like this one. If this one would get a little bit bigger, that is its newest leaf. and kind of stabilize, this would be a good one to cross with my mutualist hybrid. And then we would get a lot of these little roughly cute babies, which I absolutely love. I feel like this is a really popular one for good reason. I feel like a lot of us like the ruffles and stuff. Okay, so we are going to take a little peek into the tent now, because I have not showed y'all the tent for a while, especially not since I've kind of like rearranged things and reset some stuff up. But this is kind of the overview of what things are looking like. I had to take a shelf out of this one and this one because things are starting to get bigger, so I needed more vertical space. And then I have got my little seedling trays for the most part there on the bottom. But yeah, you can see this thing is slam packed, and a lot of these are pretty small. Okay, I was on tracking for some reason, so I think I got that canceled. But yeah, so a lot of these are really small. This is not going to be enough room for very long. That is for dang sure. But we are planning to hopefully move sometime next year. So the tentative plan is for this. This is going to like eventually be the seedling tent, like for my seedlings. And then I would have to get one of the like 8-foot tents probably for my parent plants, because yeah, this is just not going to be nearly enough room. Let me get in here. This up here, so we have got Val right here looking as good as ever. She's settling into her repot, has not skipped a beat. We do not have a new leaf yet, which is abnormal for her, but you can see back there she is trying. Can you see that? We've got a new leaf emerging like right in front of my finger, that little stick. That's her new leaf that is getting prepared to come out. So she is doing just fine. There's the one that I showed you. This is a cool one. This is my like blistery, like minty kind of variegated red spider. That newest leaf doesn't have nearly as much of the variegation on it, but it is still a really, really nice shape, really nice veins. And then we have got a couple of my variegated plants up here. My variegated papilliaminum, variegated. This is some kind of King of Spades cross. In the back, this one is variegated, but it's definitely got some damage from being sprayed with the sulfur. But she's got some cool, like kind of like pixely variegation. So hopefully when that new leaf comes out, she'll be looking much better. This is my little mutant guy that I just repotted. It's got the really cool leaves. It was not doing great in moss, so we were just going to try it in my tree fern mix, and hopefully that will be an improvement. This King of Spades butterfly cross from Wild Roots, which is not looking so hot. I just recently repotted. Its roots actually were okay, so I think it's going to be fine, and the new leaf will probably be fine as well. But it is super duper flat. That'll be a beautiful one if it survives. And then we got some Carla stuff over here. So that's the SP Nov, Black Widow Michelle. We've got a Tazula. What is this? Tazula Lunar Moon Carla. That one has not been a very strong specimen, that is for sure. But it's got beautiful veins if it would get its act together. Got my Black Widow Michelle from Brendan back there. Hopefully that one will give me a new leaf before too long. I would love to get some pollen from that. This is some kind of Carla cross that I got from Brendan also. This is an RA 4x1 crossed by OG1. And she is flowering. I'm just planning on to collect the pollen from that one. That was her most recent leaf. And then some other Carla stuff back there. Again, a lot of this is just like not going to look the best from the sulfur, and like they do tend to get a little damaged if you expose them to light too soon, and I definitely did that. And then down here, a lot of these have been recently repotted into these big, I don't even know what this is, 8-inch maybe, these like hydroponic pots that have a lot of aeration. This is a red crystal ace of spades that is super round, really cute. This is from Cartel Dawn. They call this barong. Definitely some kind of King of Spades, it feels like. Kind of pap hybrid with a cool sinus. Give me a new emergent there. Let's see, we've got a Spider Bess hybrid with the cool veins. This is that black sweet clone that gave me this really nice new leaf. And yeah, just a lot of seedlings that I've recently repotted. That's a Bluey Bingo, I think. Bingo crossed with Bluey from Steven. So those are two really beautiful Besses. Yeah, and then in the dark over here, I've got some of my Dresslery hybrids. We've got this guy, which is another one that I unboxed on the channel. Huge, huge new leaf. SKG Dresslery crossed with a Carla Pap. Really nice veining, nice leaf shape. And we got this guy, which I'm really pleased is starting to grow again. This is a Pap Circus Peanuts crossed with itself, probably, that I also got from Steven. And then these are a lot of just things that are coming back. I've repot the majority of these because the tent was staying way too moist. They were struggling a lot with like algae and stuff built up on the outsides of the pots. And I know that doesn't always cause a problem, but when it gets really thick, it can sometimes. So just for safety purposes and for peace of mind, I went ahead and repot the majority of these. So hopefully they'll start improving before too long. A lot of other just smaller plants and stuff around here. I really like this one. I cannot wait for that new emergent on. This is like a red spider hybrid. So pretty. Super red sinus. So yeah, that is pretty much the state of the tent at present. Things are not looking the nicest, but they are on the road to improvement now that we have got this pest treatment done and a lot of stuff repotted and upsized that needed to be upsized for way longer than they should have been. And I will, of course, update y'all with anything new and noteworthy that happens when it happens. All right, guys, that is going to be pretty much it for this video. Just a few quick Anthurium updates, some cool new leaves to update you guys on. I think my next video will probably just be like a walkthrough of my main grow space. So if you are interested in seeing the state of the rest of the plants that are not Anthurium, make sure you stick around because that is probably going to be the next video. But thank you guys so much for stopping by to check out my plants. And if you like this video and you want to see more content like this from me, please please subscribe. It means so much to me and it helps the channel so much. And I will see y'all in the next one. Okay, bye. Bye.